Hi everyone, thanks very much for tuning in again. For those that have not seen me before, my name's Sharon Crowley. Over the last few weeks I've been interviewing several people, both professionals and individuals, to share tips and their journeys for families that have children with additional needs. Today I've got the amazing Joanne with me, who is a speech and language therapist, and I'm literally going to throw it over to you, Joanne. Tell us a little bit about what you do, where you're based, and how your journey came about.
Hi, thanks so much, Sharon. Hello, everybody. I am Joanne Jones, and I'm a speech and language therapist and a mum of four. And I've worked in the NHS for 20 years. And about 18 months ago, I decided that the time had come for me to leave the NHS. I've always been kind of entrepreneurial and had that kind of entrepreneurial drive, and I was feeling in the NHS that was being squashed a little bit. And so the time came where I thought, do you know what, I want to branch out on my own and see about helping families online. And so I started this journey in about September, October 2018. And my idea was that I could provide support to parents to be able to support their children at home. And I had this really strong feeling when I was working in the NHS that, you know, I think probably time constraints and just historically what professionals do is they have a whole list of things that children should be doing or children of their age should be doing, and it becomes a tick list of what your child's not doing, what they can't do, what the children their age are doing. And it often reports and feedback is given in a whole list of, you know, where the deficits are. And that just didn't sit right with me, because, you know, if we all concentrate on what we can't do, it just creates a negative cycle. And I always kind of talk to my audience about the analogy of, you know, if you're going to work and your new boss just spends the whole day telling you what you can't do and what you need to do and where your improvements need to be, you soon become demotivated. And that's not just for the children in this case, it's also for the parents. And so I have developed the can-do approach to speech therapy, which is about looking at what the child can do, what lights the child up, what are the things that gets this child going and makes them want to be communicative and wants to be learning. And then let's find that point, that sweet spot, and start building on it. And the results are amazing, because not only do the children start making progress, but it kind of releases something from the adults. You know, there's no longer that kind of cycle of feeling like I'm not doing enough and I've not got enough speech therapy and I'm not seeing enough people, and my last session was here and my last session was this, or, you know, I only get an hour a week, or I only get this. Because what I teach is how to put speech therapy into everyday situations without any extra resources or any extra time. And the can-do approach focuses on those points in the day that you can start to input language at that moment. Because what we know is that children can't look and listen to different things at the same time. And if they're interested and they're focused, and we input language of that interest and focus, the child learns much better. Those neurons connect in the brain. That brain kind of starts to change its architecture. And that's when children are learning. And so a great example is if your child was really interested in a pen and they were looking at the pen and you saw a cat in the garden, as an adult we want to go, oh look at the cat in the garden. But actually for learning, what's better is to watch where our children's eyes are and where their focus of interest is, and talk about that thing that the child is interested in, even though we think that the cat in the garden is much more interesting than the pen. We have to kind of hold back off that and talk about the pen, because that's what's going to help the child to learn.
That is absolutely amazing. It is so true that that tip list, you know, of right, we need to work on this, this and this, just because it is a tip list, you know, and this comes for that, rather than getting the child's interest in there. One of my very good friends that had two different speech therapists could just tell the difference with the one that actually engaged with the child, you know, forgot everything else. So what an amazing approach. Joanne, could you share any tips that have worked for your audience, you know, with those that are watching now? I mean, you've just shared one amazing one about, you know, focusing on where the children's eyes are. So that is a real good one.
So I think that I have so many tips that I share with parents, but I would say that the key ones are the kind of the pillars of this can-do approach. So what I encourage people to think about is 4 places that they can put speech therapy during the day. So speech therapy is about a very natural process of learning communication, and as soon as we kind of make it about flashcards or worksheets or sitting at a table and completing something or doing exercises over and over again, it kind of loses its meaning. It kind of takes it away from that natural process. And so what I teach parents is that there's 4 things during the day that you can fit in with your child, and that is going to make the biggest difference. So the first thing I call magic moments. And magic moments are those little moments during the day where your child's interest is sparked, where they're suddenly focused on something, and you go with it. You get into that moment with them, you input some language, you don't ask questions or ask them to tell you more about it. You just kind of share their focus and add the language that's there and is relevant to that. The second thing is routines reinvented. And so what I ask people to do is, we've all got structure, we've all got routines during the day. Take a look at your routines and think about how you could add some communication opportunities within those routines. So us as parents, we're really good. We know our children really, really well, and we know exactly what they want, what they like, how they like things to be done, and we're pretty compliant. Like, we kind of just go along with that, and sometimes that's because our children get very upset or distressed if we don't, and sometimes it's just because that's the path of least resistance. That's the easiest way. And so, you know, these routines, if you think about breakfast time in your house, and you know, you kind of know what your child wants to eat, and you know what they want to drink and which cup they want it in, and where they're going to sit at the table, and where you're going to sit and what you're going to do next, and it just kind of happens. And what I encourage parents to do, take a bit of a step back, get a piece of paper and have a think about how could you put communication opportunities in those routines that encourage your child to participate, where you can have these mini conversations. And when I say mini conversations, your child might not be speaking, but you can still have this little interaction. So what happens if you give them juice when you know that they always want milk? Or what happens if you give them the bowl, bless you, if you give them the bowl without their cereal in? Or what happens if, you know, you forget to give them a spoon? What happens then is your child's got to come forward with another thing. They've got to prompt you, they've got to remind you, come on mum, what's going on? You know, I normally get a spoon with my breakfast. And you know, if your child's talking, they might say it, or if your child's not talking, they might look confused, they might be looking down, looking at you. And so then you can say, oh, silly me, a spoon, but you've had a moment, you've had a bit of communication. And I think that you can slip in 20 or 30 of those added moments of communication into your day, and everybody is benefiting from that. The third pillar in my can-do approach is to have together time. So this is 5 or 10 minutes during the day, whatever age child, whatever stage they're at. Even with my teenagers, I try to do this. And it's to have that moment where you put metaphorically at the door any expectation, you put all your negative mum things that go on in your head, like they should be doing this and they should be doing that and I should be doing this and I'm not good enough at this. You leave it all there and you're just in that moment, and you are showing your child that you just totally accept them, and that you are following their lead, they're in control, you're there for them, whatever they're doing. You know, if a child is autistic and they're playing in a way that we don't think is the way they should be playing, or we're trying to move on, we just follow them, we copy them, we're in that moment with them, and we start to input language in these times. And there's a process to kind of go through that, and I talk much more about that, but it's about following your child for those 10 minutes, no phone, no emails beeping at you, no background noise, just focus. And it's amazing. That in itself is just completely magical, and if you can get that into your day, you see a big difference between your relationship and also your child's language development.
That is amazing. Go on, sorry, I keep interrupting you, don't I?
No, it's fine, it's fine.
Pillar
I know
four,
I kind of
pillar four.
I get all excited and I start kind of rambling. But the fourth pillar and the last pillar is an invitation to play. And so having things that invite your child to do something different, or to so activities that promote a therapy idea, but without any expectation of how they're completed. So for example, if you were encouraging your preschool child to use fine motor skills, you might have a washing line strung up in a basket of pegs, and as you go past you might kind of put a peg on, but you would leave it for the child to play in the way that they wanted. So you're inviting them to do something, but you're leaving it open-ended. And this kind of play helps children that have maybe not have got limited ideas, or play slightly more repetitively, or we can move them on to the next stages of play. And so these four pillars and the structure that I teach around really understanding where your child's up to and what the next step is, see parents just making these incremental steps forward all of the time. But for me, like, I love hearing about the progress the children are making, but I love even more the weight that lifts from parents, because suddenly they get it and they're not looking for the answers outward. They know that they're enough. They know what things to do to help. And the relief that comes with that is the bit that kind of makes me do what I do. And I think, as a mum, I get that, and I get how much pressure's on people. And when you've got a child that's got developmental differences and is not kind of fitting in with what everybody says they should be, that pressure is even more. And we're mums to little ones for such a short amount of time, and I want to bring the joy back into that. I'm not for it to be a journey of like, I'm not enough, I can't do this, who's going to help me, where am I going to get support, where can I get more speech therapy, where can I get more physio? And so it's about kind of giving parents an empowerment to do that.
And yeah, you do. I can tell by the amount of value that you've given. Also, you can see your passion in there, and I think there's some great tips there that parents can take from that about, it doesn't always have to be a worksheet or, a flashcard. It can just be day-to-day stuff. It's something I've done recently with Ellie, my daughter. She's just turned 11, and we were surprised at how little she knew about the kitchen, for instance, because we did it for her. We got the knife and fork out, we did it. So now, trying to encourage independence as she starts high school, it's like, right, do you know what the fridge is, Ellie? Show me where the fridge is. What do we do with the fridge? And so it's just general day-to-day conversations. So Joanne, thank you for all those tips. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, obviously please do send me a link so we can attach it to the video, but where can they find you?
So I've got a Facebook page called Easy Everyday Speech Therapy, and I have got a group called Parenting Children with Speech, Language and Communication Difficulties, and anybody would be more than welcome to come over. I just want to say that there's because obviously this video is going to be around for a while, but I've got a really exciting project in the pipeline as well, where I've come together with a physio and an OT, and we're going to create the Can-Do curriculum that includes all three disciplines, so that parents who have got children with more than one area of developmental delay can access everything in one place. And it's going to be full of activity ideas, but following this premise of empowerment within everyday situations to get all of those therapies in. And so come along, join my group. I'll keep people involved and in touch through there, and I go live quite often with Q&As and things. So, and I do challenges all the time, and so there's loads to do. And then I've got a paid membership, which at the moment is $19.99 a month, and that is all of this teaching in a place where we're together and I'm live, and you can have coaching calls with me, and we do everything in there, so you'd be more than welcome to come over. We've got quite a few children with developmental difficulties in there, including Down syndrome, so more than welcome over there.
Thank you very, very much. So we're going to leave it there for now. I will drop this link, and please do keep me posted about that new programme, because it sounds amazing. Right, thanks very much for your time today, Joanne, and I'll speak to you all soon.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.